Dashing, daring, courageous, and caring, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for the In the Can Show.
You know, nostalgia is denial. Denial of the painful present.
Get the latest in film reviews from inthecan.net, preventing mind vomits by recommending only the best. What is it about the 90s cartoons that make them so much better than the movies that they make? I mean,
and not just that, they're better than today's cartoons as well.
Well, they're better than today's cartoons as well. I'll admit that. That goes without saying. But, like, for instance, Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man from the animated series in the 90s. They have never made a movie that's like that Spider-Man, even though he's the best. He's fragile, he's not perfect, and he's not really powerful at all, which is Spider-Man in essence. And they just never get it. What is it about cartoons? Maybe we're just looking at them with, like, nostalgic sort of, like, heart flutters and saying that, they just seemed better back then. But, I mean, it's like, really, a lot of the superheroes that we're seeing are not as good as they should be.
Well, it's also another case of there's so many people working on these stories, and 9 times out of 10, the people that are in the seats of power who are actually making the movies, bringing the movies to the screen, they don't feel the same way that the core fan base does about the characters.
Yeah, and they hire people that have never actually, with Brian Singer, he never actually knew about X-Men. And then, didn't he do Superman Returns as well? Yeah. I don't know what his background was with Superman.
He directed it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much of a fan he was of Superman. I mean, not saying that fans automatically make great filmmakers, because they don't.
Well, I would say he was a very big fan of Superman made by Richard Donner, because Superman Returns is basically like those movies. I mean, from the intro and the music to everything like that. So, definitely, maybe he wasn't a fan of Superman because he didn't give a crap about him, but he did care about those movies. But we live in a sad universe where fans never really get what they ask for. But I mean that.
But I think also,
I think that that it's, even though we haven't really gotten any of the heroes that we deserve on screen, there have been some good movies made about them. Like you were mentioning in the previous podcast, how you enjoyed The Dark Knight. And I think it's a good movie, regardless of whether it's a fantastic Batman movie. It's still a pretty good movie, full stop. Maybe it's just a case of not enough people that love the material working on it. Maybe the people that are working on the material that love it, maybe that sort of idea doesn't sell very well. And yeah.
But also, if you think the cartoons of the 90s were very, very mature. I mean, yes, you're talking about, mentioned earlier about heart flutters and everything, that nostalgic air, but I remember watching Batman with my dad, and he would be, I would be playing outside, and he would call me inside because Batman was on, and then because some of those episodes were really, really dark, and I remember anytime Scarecrow showed up, I mean, that was hectic. I mean, Scarecrow, the way it was drawn, it was just creepy, and it always meant something bad for Batman. But the stories are genuinely good.
Yeah. I'll say that at least with the Batman intro, I think that's the thing that lives on forever in everybody's memories, is how awesome that intro was. It was like just like the movies. Even used the Danny Elfman score.
I also remember in X-Men, when Morph was killed, Morph was actually introduced in the series. He was actually an invented character just for the cartoon series, and they killed him off. And that was one of the first cartoon deaths that I experienced in any case on TV. So that was quite hectic for me, because you just never saw him again.
I didn't know Morph was in the X-Men.
Sorry?
I didn't know Morph was in the X-Men.
We're not talking about the little red plasticine guy.
No, there was a character. He was also a shapeshifter in the X-Men, but he was actually Wolverine's friend. And
he looked like Cyclops. Why did he look like Cyclops? That's what I want to know.
I love Morph Man. Yeah, that guy was funny. Eh?
What happened to cartoons? You know, I mean,
Hey, that guy couldn't speak. Eh? He was just walking around like half the time he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Oh, it was brilliant.
with all of his friends and stationery and
Yeah.
no, what happened to cartoons, man? I mean, it's you know, there still are a few good cartoons on TV right now. I still watch them, but I don't know. There's just maybe we're just getting too old. I don't know.
Too old for this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
I think it's the writing as well, because I'm beginning to turn more and more on that writer's strike that happened. I mean, okay, yes, it was a few years after, because cartoons have been on the decline for quite some time. But in a general sense, the writing has just fallen quite far in recent times.
I don't know about you. I don't know if you have DSTV, but some of the cartoons lately are getting really, really weird. Like, I mean, it's like they're just so crazy. It's like everybody that makes them is like having a permanent acid trip whenever they write this stuff. It's like, I don't know. I've watched a couple of cartoons, like Adventure Time. I don't know if any of you seen that. And that's crazy as all hell.
Only one I watch constantly, or when it comes on, where I can catch it, is Phineas and Ferb.
It's also kind of weird, but it's like, it's just stories, like the writing in cartoons these days, it's not like what I remember it to be, you know, it's not like Transformers, it's not like Thundercats, it's not like Gummy Bears, you know, where it's like, they all kind of follow a formula, you know, like the comic,
the Rescuers.
Yeah, Rescue Rangers, all that sort of stuff, but now they're just so strange. It's like, I don't know if I don't really know what to make of them. It's like, it makes you
I
feel
think CGI is also hurts the genre in a sense, because I think maybe it diminished, it watered or diluted the genre, because now more people could get access to it, more people could churn out their own stuff, whereas in the past maybe it was a very more exclusive. So they focused on the quality because they knew that they were, you know, the only ones around, sort of thing.
Like,
What
for
happened
instance,
to the rebooted Thundercats series? Did you ever watch that?
I
thought that was
watched
pretty
it,
good.
and I thought it was incredible. I enjoyed that series. Too bad it got cancelled, huh?
Did it get
Yeah.
cancelled?
Yep, got cancelled. And it was actually pretty darn good. I actually think it was better than the original Thundercats cartoon. So,
Yeah,
but,
I agree. It was really cool.
but I don't know. Maybe we're just the nostalgic generation, because I don't see how any kids today, like 10, 20 years from now, are going to be nostalgic for any of the stuff that's currently on TV. It's like,
True, yeah.
like, I mean, think about it. I can't think of anybody looking back with fondness on, like, Ben 10 or anything like that. I mean, it's just...
I don't remember SpongeBob, and that's about it.
Well, SpongeBob, at the rate it's going, is never going to end. So it's just, they're just going to keep on... They're making another movie now of SpongeBob. And the sad part is that when SpongeBob started out, it was actually kind of clever. You know, it's like, I remember the first season or so. But it's like, then as soon as they came out with the movie to it, it's like suddenly the humor became like really retarded. So it's like, it like became like very sort of kiddie-centric. So it's just, what happened
But
to
think
nostalgia?
about how retarded Ren and Stimpy was, dude.
Yeah, that was weird as well. That was like what cartoons are now, but like back in the 90s.
Yeah, but it was actually disgusting. Eh?
It was disgusting.
I think the downfall started with Power Rangers, in my opinion.
Well,
It's not a cartoon, but it's still, it realigned what the kids were watching.
yeah. No,
So, yeah.
there is some truth to that. Although I still think that Power Rangers is pretty awesome. Now looking back at it, I can't watch it because it's garbage. But it's, I mean, try watching it again now.
Embarrassing.
You'll be embarrassed for what you actually liked back then, because no, Power Rangers. But you know, it was a cultural icon, and as bad as it is now, I mean, it's just
as it ever has been, because it's always been bad. We just didn't know it was bad when we watched it.
the problem is that they appropriated Power Rangers for a Western audience. You know, it was Super Sentai, which was like a very long ongoing series in Japan. You know, like kind of like Godzilla and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it works very well there.
So there is a success story. The Pink Power Ranger is famous. I can't remember her name, but I know her face. The
I know
original Pink Power Ranger.
I know that the Green Power Ranger became like some mixed martial artist or something. That's about it. But yeah, it's. I think it was pretty much a career killer for most of them. I always thought it was kind of weird how it's like the Black Power Ranger was a black person and the Yellow Power Ranger was a Chinese person. So, yeah,
So that was like what was it Captain Planet?
yeah, same story.
He had Earth.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it's like kind of like racist without trying to be racist. So, I don't really get it. But
Captain Planet was gender neutral. Oh, not gender neutral, race neutral.
he was just an alien. He was just an alien. No, anybody who likes Captain Planet, I'm sorry. People look fondly on that crap. Captain Planet was garbage. I hated that shit. All of those Ted Turner cartoons were awful. Like Denver the Last Dinosaur, Widget the World Watcher.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, the theme tune is too catchy. That's what its crime is. But still, it's like
I remember the Jetsons and the Flintstones. I actually like the Jetsons more than the Flintstones.
Now you got that song stuck in my head.
You're welcome.
So,
He's our friend and a whole lot more.
oh, is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the that was good, man.
Yeah, but actually, the actual cartoon is garbage. I'm telling you, it's.
I remember liking it, and then I think it had like the second season, and then I'd grown like by about a year, and then I tuned in again, and I was like, why did I like this show again?
No, it's true that Denver the Last Dinosaur is just awful, and I don't understand it. It's like everybody in that show is just mentally messed up because they can't actually understand it's a dinosaur when it's dressed up in his only disguise is just sunglasses. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and a hoodie.
Yeah, it's just and anyway, it's a fucking dinosaur. Still, I mean, it's like. That shit doesn't even work, like, scientifically or anything. I mean, that's why it's a cartoon, of course, because I'm overanalyzing it. What was your favorite cartoon growing up? Let us know in the comments, and while you're there, remember to rate and subscribe. We love to hear feedback, and if you're feeling slightly adventurous, head to inthecan.net. You will not be disappointed.